In the deep recesses of the mind exist the control centers of the endocrine system, the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. Many a signaling axis bends to the united power of these two organs, and today we will discuss two of these chain subsystems, the HPA axis and the HPT axis. The adrenal glands are the end organs of the HPA axis, whereas the HPT axis concludes at the thyroid and parathyroid glands. From the anterior pituitary gland, adrenocorticotropic hormone is unleashed to signal the release of catecholamines and steroids from the adrenal medulla and cortex respectively. Medullary catecholamines include epinephrine and norepinephrine, which are activated by HPA-triggered stress, including high-intensity or long-duration exercise, sleep dysregulation, and perceived threats that initiate the fight-or-flight response. Adrenocorticoid steroids include the mineralocorticoid aldosterone, which manages electrolyte and water balance, and the primary glucocorticoid cortisol, which is involved in the metabolism and inflammation. At the end of the HPT axis lies the thyroid gland, upon the back of which are located upwards of 4 parathyroid glands. Triggered by the release of thyroid-stimulating hormone, the HPT axis produces thyroid hormones and calcitonin. Thyroid hormones, especially triiodothyronine, or T3, are involved in aerobic metabolism in the mitochondria, where they increase oxidative phosphorylation. Thyroid hormones are also involved in overall energy expenditure, metabolic rate, body composition, and thermal regulation. The products of the end organs of both axes are involved in the negative feedback mechanisms that inhibit or halt production of the hypothalamic and adrenal hormones responsible for their secretion. But right now, you may be asking yourself, what is the meaning of all those boxes with red S in them? Well, about that. First off, let's talk about energy availability, or the available calories from energy intake after exercise expenditure is accounted for relative to fat-free mass. This can be calculated by dividing the difference between energy intake and exercise energy expenditure by fat-free mass. Low energy availability is a state of inadequate energy availability relative to exercise energy expenditure. Short-term low energy availability can induce acute health and performance benefits when utilized as part of a grander periodization scheme, but long-term low energy availability can become problematic, resulting in disrupted body functions and negative health and performance effects. Given time, this can lead to reduced bone mineral density and endocrine dysfunction, particularly the hypothalamic-pituitary-gonadal axis. Combined, this syndrome, formerly known as the female athlete triad, has been reclassified as relative energy deficiency in sports, or RED-S. Low energy availability impairs the ATP-PC pathway, reduces T3 levels, compromises hemoglobin due to reduced dietary iron intake, and impairs recovery from exercise. Proposed thresholds for low energy availability range from 30 to 45 daily calories per kilogram of fat-free mass. What does this have to do with the heroes of our story? Well, RED-S results in reduced activin A, insulin-like growth factor, luteinizing hormone, follicle-stimulating hormone, sex hormones, thyroid hormones, and GH sensitivity, along with increased follistatin, IGF binding proteins, adrenocorticotropic hormone, catecholamines, cortisol, and growth hormone pulsatility. If any of that sounds familiar, well, it should. In the HPA axis, RED-S increases catecholamines and cortisol. You might recall that catecholamines go into overdrive as part of the fight-or-flight response to stress. Well, what is more stressful than the simultaneous starvation and diminished bone health? The endocrine system's primary mission is to maintain homeostasis, and managing chaos is anything but the status quo. Increased cortisol production disrupts metabolic, reproductive, and psychological functions, causing further systemic distress. On the HPT side of this coin, red S reduces thyroid hormone production, especially T3. T3 is the most plentiful and critical thyroid hormone. Not only is it integral to aerobic respiration, chronically reduced T3 levels can lead to hypothyroidism. In short, red S hyperactivates the HPA axis while inhibiting the HPT axis. Both axes are coordinated by the hypothalamic-pituitary duo, but the stress of low energy availability impacts them differently. It is almost as if resources are shunted toward the front lines to fight the stressor, but considering that starvation is not a physical but rather a systemic threat, the reduced metabolic rate imposed by the subdued HPT axis and the heightened arousal of the HPA axis may only make matters worse. Ooh. Look at all these people that contributed to the wealth of knowledge we've accumulated on this topic. You got Angelini et al. Doing their thing all the way back in 2024. You got some textbook knowledge from Cooper and Ackerman. Don't forget about Felter Rasmussen. That was some hard work there. And Iwan and Jefferson, they've really been doing their work. Knight, thank you for the overview. Couldn't have done it without you. You Kramer and Kramer, attorneys at law much, or maybe just scientists? That's cool. And we got Lou and Luke's. Nelson. I know I'm skipping a few. We can't read every single one here. You've got it. You're looking at it. You're feeling what I'm putting down. We got... Gonna try to pronounce it. Here we go. Motiunite. Motiunite? JM. Mountjoy. Nakamura and Morrison. Newton, look at you throwing it back to 2000. Sometimes we have to use the legacy science to go forward into the future. Let's not forget St. Pierre, Timmermans, Sang, and Ilian Company. This has been quite the emphatic, wonderful, deep dive that can only be provided by the scientists of yore. Thank you very much for your time. And oh, what is that? Copyright? Are you saying there's more videos provided by Rye TV, some of which produced for Horsepower Fitness? I can't believe it. Maybe there's cartoons. Maybe there's some live action stuff. Maybe there's a 35-minute tour de force all about myocardio infarctions. I don't know. Check it out. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. Who knows?